That night, Sauron and the Fury Corps launched an attack in revenge for the events of the afternoon. Once the sun set, it became harder to aim a gun, which the Shinsengumi hoped would give the Fury Corps the advantage. At first it did, and the Furies were even more successful than they'd hoped. But then the gunners began to fire different special bullets, and the Fury Corps were quickly driven back. The loss was devastating. Silver bullets? And our allies quickly crumbled. With the betrayal of the Yodo and Su domains, and the refusal of the Owari domain to become involved in any way, the Shinsengumi was alone. A domain governed by the daimyo Todo. Although he was an opposition daimyo, he was given the same respect as his predecessor. Huh. And Owari. Gotta go find that O. Okay. There we go. The leader and largest of the three branches of the Takagawa clan. The lord of this domain is higher in rank than the lords of the other two. Okay. With our allies gone and enemies everywhere, we had no choice but to retreat to Osaka Castle. I can't believe this is still going. Like, that was so intense. What's left?
Well, here we are. Damn, this place is big. What's the sense in building a place like this? Man, I was wondering how long it'd take us to get here. Hijikata, we're gonna take Yamazaki to see Dr. Matsumoto, okay? Sure. Fine. Go ahead.
I performed emergency first aid on him, but Yamazaki had groaned in pain all the way home. Considering how badly he was covered in deep gashes, I couldn't see him making it for longer. I was also worried for Hijikata. Now that he was a Fury, being out in the sunlight had to be painful for him. Hijikata? Are you feeling alright? I mean, physically?
What? Surprised to see a Fury out during the day?
No, I mean, that's not what I was just wondering if anything has changed.
No. So far, nothing. Still, pretty soon here it'll probably be real painful for me to even look at the sun. Might as well enjoy it while I can.
Oh no. Hijikata was joking, but what he said made me hang my head low.
I don't know what's going on in that head of yours, but only one person made the decision to drink that stuff. Me. Besides, I've ordered plenty of men to cut themselves open or become Furies. Can't really wuss out when it's my turn, can I? I had a feeling this would happen eventually. Don't blame yourself.
It wasn't that easy, though. I couldn't just take him at his word and shed all the guilt I felt. When I looked up at him, though, his expression seemed somehow relieved. This is kind of a weird question, but did something good just happen?
Of course.
He looked up at the castle walls and laughed. Really?
Isn't it obvious? We have a bright future ahead of us.
We do?
This castle will never fall. So long as we stay here, we can't lose. Maybe we'll do what Yukimura Sanada couldn't. And maybe I'll get some revenge.
A general from the Warring States period, his tactical skills contributed greatly to the Osaka defense during the Siege of Osaka, although the castle ultimately fell. And he said, just to re-emphasize, I'll say that same line again.
And maybe I'll get some revenge. How could I not be excited?
The man I'd watched fight the demon Kazuma was nowhere to be seen. Hijikata's face now was that of a man looking forward, determined to win. I smiled to myself. He hadn't given up hope. I don't like that the music stopped, though.
Commander, there you are.
What's wrong?
We've been ordered to put to sea immediately. We're returning to Edo.
So much for using this castle.
Edo.
What do you mean? I thought we were going to stay here and give the rebel scum a little payback.
Well,
He hesitated, and I sensed that it was out of reluctance, not confusion. When he spoke, he sounded as if even he didn't quite believe what he was saying.
I've received word that Yoshinobu Takagawa has already boarded a ship and is headed for Edo. So there is little point in remaining here.
For a moment, Hijikata simply stood there, stunned. When he spoke, his voice was a sinister growl.
What the hell do you mean he's on a boat to Edo? His army put their necks on the line for him, and he's running away to save his own sorry ass. Well, to be honest, I'm really not too sure myself.
Shimada didn't look much more pleased about the situation than Hijikata. Damn it! Unable to contain his frustration, he kicked out at the nearest tree. That's perfectly understandable. His eyes thinned and he kicked it several more times. At last he stopped, slightly out of breath, and tried to regain his earlier calm.
Fine. Not like we were fighting for Takagawa himself in the first place. They don't have the balls for it, fine. We don't need them. We've still got Denshu Company, and a couple of those warships the Shogunate bought from the foreigners.
An elite force trained in Western tactics by French military instructors.
When we get to Edo, we'll just have to start the fight up again.
Perhaps it was a desperate exhilaration? Yeah, thank you. My brain couldn't translate that word for some reason. Blech. Perhaps it was the desperate exhilaration of having your back to the wall, but I saw the fire of determination light in Hijikata's eyes.
Do I have to... Okay, we're fading.
We're fading away. Final chapter. Man, what a roller coaster. This war later became known as the Battle of Toba-Fushimi. Throughout the war, the shogunate troops had the advantage in numbers. A battle between imperial and shogunate forces that lasted for 4 days during January of 1868. 4 days. Skirmishes occurred in Kamitoga, Shimotoba, Takeda, and Fushimi in southern Kyoto. But they were no match against the Satsuma Choshu, who successfully employed advanced weapons and Western tactics to gain the upper hand. Wow. Allegedly, the deciding moment was in the arrival of the gold brocade flag, which represented their allegiance and backing of the imperial palace. When Lord Yoshinobu had discovered this had happened, he decided to retreat to Edo. At this point, the war became pointless to those serving the shogunate once their leader had left. The prospect of defeat is what moved the last remnants of the shogunate and the Shinsengumi to leave Osaka Castle for Edo. During the trip aboard the ship, Dr. Matsumoto and I took turns caring for Yamazaki. Oh, Yamazaki.
Yukimura, are you there?
Yes, what's the matter? Are you in pain?
No. I wanted to tell the commander something. Can you call him for me?
Oh no, for him to call out for Hijikata must mean... No, I couldn't think of that yet. Okay, I'll go and get him right away. Hold on. I hurried out of the cabin and I went to call Hijikata. We'd rush back to the cabin with Yamazaki immediately.
Yamazaki.
Yamazaki, I brought Hijikata. Can you see him?
Yeah. Thanks, Yukimura.
Yamazaki's face was almost white as snow. Almost all of the blood had drained from his face. I take it he's not going to drink that water of life. It was clear that the end for him was near. Cold sweat dripped profusely from his forehead, and Yamazaki started to speak meekly.
Commander, I'm so sorry that I couldn't help you until the end.
What the hell are you saying? If you have the energy to apologize, just focus on getting better.
Despite what he'd said, Hijikata's harsh tone sounded to me like he knew the end was near too. But I guess there was more of a reason for him to speak like he normally would to Yamazaki.
Come to think of it, these past 4 years, all the days spent working as your right hand were some of the best days of my whole life. I was born the son of an acupuncturist, and you took me in, which has allowed me to die a warrior. All because of the Shinsengumi. If I had one last wish, it would be that I could serve you until the very end.
Yamazaki spoke with staggered, pained breaths, and he mustered all his strength to speak his final words.
It's okay. If you force yourself, it'll just hurt more.
Then Yamazaki's eyes darted towards me suddenly.
Yukimura, please take care of the commander from now on. I want you to be by his side, witnessing the Shinsengumi's victory.
Watching this unfold was too much for my heart to bear. I couldn't respond immediately.
Yukimura, say something.
Hijikata urged me to answer, and I held back my tears as I responded. All right. Yamazaki, please. Just rest. When I answered him, Yamazaki's expression softened. After a while, he closed his eyes slowly. Yamazaki? I spoke his name aloud, but no movement came from his eyes, nor the rest of him ever again. I can't believe Yamazaki died. Oh my god.
What a peaceful way to go. It's as if he were sleeping.
Hijikata's words confirmed what I had hoped was just a dream. Yamazaki had passed in front of me. I crumbled to the floor. Okay, now I just gotta speak through the tears until we get to the end. It was suggested by Enomoto of the Bakushin to do a burial at sea for Yamazaki. Second in command of the Shogunate Navy and captain of the flagship Kayamaro.
You alright, Kondo? Can you stand on your own?
Aye, thanks, Toshi.
Hijikata supported Kondo as he walked up to the deck, doing his best to contain his grief.
Everyone. Yamazaki was an integral part of for a long time as a member of the Watch.
I guess that should be part of the Shinsengumi.
For him to leave us under such circumstances, it fills me with an unimaginable sadness. Yamazaki possessed so much selflessness. He served his duties with determination and enthusiasm, giving us everything he had, no matter what was asked of him. I'd like to take a moment to celebrate his life. If we may, I would like to hold a memorial service in the form of a burial at the sea.
Eventually, Yamazaki's body was carried forth by the pallbearers aboard the ship.
Farewell, Yamazaki. I pray that you watch over us proudly, from wherever you are, as we fight.
After Kondo had finished his eulogy, Yamazaki's body was thrown into the sea.
Damn you, Yamazaki. How dare you die on me? No point in complaining now. I'm sure Yamazaki wanted this less than anyone else. Shut up! I know that!
Although none of the men seemed to be displaying their grief publicly, everyone's eyes were red. I could only assume they had shed their tears when they were without the company of others. Hijikata stood there, looking down at the sea as if he'd wanted to say something. Yamazaki's body drifted, popping up in between the tumbling waves for a few moments, but soon his body had washed away out of sight.
We're still going? Please, I need a moment to grieve.
I couldn't bring myself to sleep soundly because my mind focused solely on Yamazaki. I wandered to the deck. Oh. I stopped upon seeing an unexpected person.
Oh. It's you. What's the matter? You're up early.
I couldn't really sleep. How about you, Hijikata?
Same.
Right. With all that had happened, I'm sure Hijikata needed some time to process all of it alone. He watched the stars covering the dark sky, like a ghost of the day before haunting from above. The sun began to faintly show its head in the east. Dawn was soon arriving.
Look, I'm sure you're handling a lot right now too, but maybe it'd be best if you don't stay out here for too long. They say it's not good for women to be out in the cold for too long, right?
Yes, I understand. I'll go back inside soon.
Great.
Our conversation ended there. Together, for a moment, we listened to the endless movement of the ocean crashing against the ship. I couldn't shake the thought of how many men we'd lost in this battle. Aww.
Until now. I always felt like I was fighting an uphill battle by trying to assert myself as a true samurai. Never once did I ever think that the path I chose was a wrong one. Again, Yamazaki. I'm sure all the men who gave their lives for this battle felt the same way. But I suppose that it's more of a reason for us, who survived, to live our lives in their honor, and to fulfill what they would have expected from us.
Hijikata was looking at the far eastern sky. His expression was so vigorous, almost scary. It felt as though I was witnessing the return of Hijikata's strength and unwavering determination. Almost as if he were opening my eyes. I don't know how I could ever repay the debt of Yamazaki and Inoue's sacrifices. As Hijikata and I watched the sky, I felt compelled to tell him something that came to me. Hey. Hijikata? I need to tell you something.
What is it?
To speak these words, I knew I needed courage to do it. I knew they could hurt him. Are you going to tell him Inoue's last words? Yeah, we haven't done that yet. Inoue wanted me to tell you something before he died. He said that he wanted to apologize for his incompetence, and he hoped you would forgive him for not staying with you until the end. He said he didn't have the words to thank you for giving a man like him the chance to be a part of something, and that he'd never forget what you did for him. As I was telling him this, I started to choke and began to sob, but I was finally able to tell him Inoue's final words. Hijikata's eyelids shook faintly, and I saw him gulping. And then...
God damn it again. Why all the vagary? Incompetence. A thank you for giving a man like him a chance. We were the ones who should be thanking him.
Hijikata was inhibiting himself from expressing the true weight of his emotions, and his eyes thinned. The sun had finally climbed from the horizon.
Maybe it's because I'm a fury now. But that damn sun is really stinging my eyes.
Hijikata stared resolutely towards the rising sun.
Gen, Yamazaki, watch over us. We won't let it end like this. As soon as we get to Edo, we're going to regroup, and we'll avenge you two. Also, all those bitches in the Bakushin and in the Satsuma Choshu, I'm gonna engrave the name of the Shinsengumi over each and every one of their hearts. I promise you they will never forget it.
His face was so gallant in the shine of the dawn, almost godlike, and I couldn't look away. If Hijikata, who shared an even deeper kinship with Inoue and Yamazaki than someone like me, could be strong, then so could I. It gave me a purpose to pull myself from the grief of the battle. This made me realize that I must do my best too, for everyone, for as long as I am by Hijikata's side.
Wow, talk about emotions running high. What an ending to the halfway point. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh. That was so emotional. Good grief, how am I gonna make it through the rest of this? Toshi. Sheesh. Oh. Sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I'm just like so overwhelmed right now.
That was just a crazy entire final chapter. I mean, I'm blown away. I was blown away by this ending, by what we've got so far. This isn't even the end. That could have been like a whole thing on its own, but there's still more to come with Toshi. Sheesh. Well, I can definitely see why everybody admires and looks up to him. Ugh, talk about determination. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious, I can't even speak anymore. I'm just so like, ah! Ugh. I think the only thing I didn't really like, there's us, was that for a lot of his route, I felt like Chizuru was more timid than she was with Soji, but I don't know if I'm just imagining that, or if, I mean, Toshi's like a very, intimidating personality. Of course you want to like do your best for him, so maybe that's all it was, but I felt like she was a lot quieter and more timid to try stuff, but maybe she'll be, the ending there, she seemed more determined, so I'm hoping that the second half will be more determined Chizuru. Be interesting to see. Whew. Man, that was great though. Loved it. Since we didn't die, I guess we got that good ending. Probably. Probably a good chance, even though there was sadness to be had. Alright, the epilogue. January 1868. The Battle of Toba-Fushimi ended with the Satsuma and Choshu victorious. As the shogunate troops retreated, the Shinsengumi headed towards Edo. 4 years ago, I came to Kyoto all by myself in search for my father and met the Shinsengumi. I am going to leave the city of Kyoto where I made fond memories with the Shinsengumi. Despite the defeat, his resolve didn't waver, and I have chosen to walk alongside him. We are going to head to Edo, without knowing what fate awaits us. Fiend. Full-bloom fiend. Good job. Man. I'm gonna need some time. You can't sit with us? Achievement unlocked? What? What? You can't sit with us? What does that mean? Okay. I'm not sure what that is in reference to. I mean, I understand the reference, but I don't understand the application, I guess. Huh. Alright. Well, I guess, yeah, that was the good ending. I hope you guys enjoyed what we've got of Toshi's route so far. I certainly did. It was fantastic. I loved how incredibly different that was from Soji's. Makes me really wonder how much more different it can be with the other. I can't believe we lost 2 of the dateable guys on Toshi's route. Yamazaki and Sakamoto, I think is his name. We still haven't met him yet, but good grief. Okay. Well, unfortunately, all good things come to an end. So it's time to go for that unrequited love and bad ending, so... Considering that last chapter all had to do with Kazuma, I'm very curious how that is all going to go down. Anyway, I guess we'll find out soon enough. Thank you very much for joining me, guys, and maybe I'll see you over there. Until next time, I will see you later.